Welcome back. Well, Louisiana Reporter of the Year and two-time regional Edward R. Murrow winner Aaron Dietrich continues to profile unique people and places in Northeast Louisiana. In this edition of What's Your Story, he shines the light on a man who soars to new heights with a nonprofit.
Have you found your true calling in life? Something that gives you enormous satisfaction in the process helps a friend, a neighbor, or even a complete stranger. It sounds like an impossible feat, but tonight we meet a Ouachita Parish resident who has found a unique way to live his life to the fullest.
The freedom.
Right, at least got a little breeze blowing.
Of being able to go and come as you please.
These are mornings that Philip Thomas lives for.
One on each wing.
His checklist is pretty simple. He's on a mission to make a difference.
It's incredible that it started from a dream, and it just wasn't a dream, it was a vision from above.
Sometimes I may be 8 or 10.
A part-time pilot since 1975, Thomas's flight path changed drastically in December of 2007.
Wow, this is unbelievable. Same dream 2 nights in a row. Maybe God's trying to tell me something.
He buckled up as divine intervention took over.
God's trying to tell us that we need to help fly more patients and help people go to special treatment facilities.
You have to give me one.
Inside the hangar, we spot Adelie and her brother Jude. Their game of checkers abruptly comes to an end with the arrival of their favorite pilot.
Very touching. It makes it all worthwhile.
A daddy's girl, I take it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just a little.
With a heart of gold, Adelie has become a frequent flyer.
She flies like a champ, just like riding in a car to her. She flies like a champ.
Clouds.
There was a turbulent start to Adelie's life. Born of the heart defect, she underwent 3 open heart surgeries in 5 years.
She's got courage and bravery oozing from her.
And we're so happy that we can fulfill.
Adelie is blessed to have angels in the air. Philip's nonprofit organization, Pilots for Patients, has helped the Bakers make doctor's appointments across the South in a timely manner.
And the fact that he can't come with us and we have to leave him behind. We get home sooner to him and we become whole again.
This is just one of nearly 8,000 stories. Every summer, Pilots for Patients celebrates significant milestones.
And I think in Galatians it says, share one another's burdens, you know, and so that's what we're doing. We're sharing one another's burdens.
Since Philip's first dream in 2007, the organization has completed 7,763 missions, with enough nautical miles flown that they could have gone around the equator 132 times.
We pray with them. We give them encouragement when they're physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally distraught.
And get this, the 140 Louisiana pilots are not compensated for their time, plane, or fuel.
We charge hugs.
And Adelie has plenty of those to give out.
A color piece?
With no restrictions, this 5-year-old is trading in waiting rooms for playgrounds.
Resilience. Stop it, please.
She's not bashful at the scar, then?
No.
That's her mark.
It's part of who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Just a piece, though.
Yeah.
And her story will always hold a place in the hearts of Louisiana pilots.
It's been quite a ministry. We never dreamed.